it still keeps it going on YouTube, so it doesn't like mess up my link. It just
Okay.
like blinks it out, if that makes sense. Like it'll have like the drop, and then we like instantly start where we start back up. So
Okay.
I just want to give it like a few minutes to kind of warm up, see if it's gonna happen again. Um, because this is, and I was trying to talk to my moderator about it. It's such a tricky situation because it's not easy to figure out what's causing it outside of just completely deleting the software from my program and rebuilding, which I'm going to do if this happens again. But I love this book. I loved my favorite part, and I don't know if I think you were either like on the train or at a train station. The paneling you were using as like bars to swing on,
Oh
and
yeah.
it was so cool. I like that's one of my favorite parts about you. You always find a really unique way of like breaking the story down, and your paneling in this was insane. Right, the one was 72 panels, right?
Yep, yep, that's a totally normal one. I think that the one with the lamps is the one I'm the most proud of. Like, I really feel like that just all because that page is as I had it laid out, I was like, look, I'm doing a big exciting thing in a couple of pages time with the leaking out of the lamp bulb. I might as well just like have a pretty straightforward thing here. This is just us walking into my office and sitting down and chatting. And then I was like, hang on, if I look through the door of my office, there are so many fucking lamps. Like, why don't I just use all of the lamps as the panel frames?
Mm-hmm. Um, so is that another short story?
No, it should be in the one I sent you. It should be like page
Hmm.
after two dinosaurs. It then follows one of the Richards as he runs down the train tunnel to the comic convention and ends up screaming about his
Okay, so
sandwich.
I read Two Dinosaurs and I didn't go any farther because I thought that
Oh,
was
oh yeah.
it.
There's another 8 or 9 pages after that.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. I was like, I know I read some of this on my phone, but I didn't think it was that small. So everyone joining us, right here is the link to the book we'll be talking about today. Oops, all Richard. I love the name too. Is it like a play on cereal?
Yeah, so it started out like one of the problems I have is I do a memoir every year at this point it seems. Um although it's have I done one? Yeah, no, every year I've done a memoir since I started doing the Richard Sucks project. And then I get asked to do these like short pieces for other people's anthologies and quite often they want me to do a memoir piece. And I like doing it. It's a fun little exercise, but what I end up with is like all of these little um side pieces that don't really uh they fit thematically or they're part of the larger memoir project, but like these memoir books are very much like one tight theme or one tight
Mm-hmm.
moment of my life. And I'd had this idea to release like uh a sort of ongoing series of like floppies where each one would have two or three short pieces from older anthologies. Once the rights revert back to me on these things, bundle them up and put them out. And I was going to call it, originally, I was going to call it, because I'm an asshole, I was going to call it, I'm tired of backing Kickstarter anthologies just to get one Richard Fairgray story. And then I decided that instead I should just call it Oops, All Richards. And then that led to me thinking, okay, well, I know which three I'm going to go with first. And then I thought I should do a little wraparound story that, because like the theme of them is like one, not learning, two, the perception we have of something being like my belief that something is real, making it real, or if something looks the right way, then it should just logically become the thing it's meant to be. And I thought if I do like a little piece that wraps around with that, and I'd had this experience with the fan giving me the mushrooms at Comic Con, and so I started working on that, and I thought, okay, well, what if instead of it being like 4 pages at the start and end, what if it was like 4 8-page pieces in between those other three, and then I'm sort of making this prestige format kind of length thing. And then a bunch of like really fucking chaotic shit happened in my life. Partly as a result of the mushrooms, but partly as a result of like just the way I've been living and the speed that I've been living at. And it all just kind of came together to be, like this book. When I first conceived of it, I was going to put it out in October last year as just like a little thing in between something else, and then it's just it just kept nagging away at me, and it's become this like much bigger project.
I love that. So we are good. It hasn't dropped. If it does drop, I can beep you real quick, and we just boot it back up, and it continues as one big video. So it's not too hard to kind of segue off of that. I'm actually going to, I think, start doing some behind the scenes footage. Because that was a really good answer. I always love your answers. You always, and that's why I always love doing these interviews, because you always give me such awesome information, man. That was great. So we are good to go. Are you good to go?
I'm good to go.
I'm good to go. Tipsy, thank you for joining us. Everyone that is watching, by the way, you can get your own Keeping It Geekly little podcast shirt right here. We got the headphones, we got drinking coffee and reading comics. The mannequin back there, of course, is wearing it too. I didn't realize that till we went live. So be sure to check out the coffee page to pick up yours today. As always, we're talking about a brand new book. Oops, all Richard. Be sure to check out that link right here. We're going to be pulling it up and checking it out with you guys in here just a few moments, but be sure to back today. If you can't, share it with your friends and family. They're going to love this. Richard always puts out outstanding work. So with that being said, let's begin in 3, 2, 1. Yo, yo, yo. Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic episode of Keeping It Geekly. It's your Cape Crusader Cody, and we're hanging out with all-time returning guest, Richard Fairgray. Here to break down Oops, All Richard, and everything in between. I had the chance to read a decent chunk of this, and as always, I love it. I love your paneling. I love your perspective views on this, and I just love how fucking insane these stories get. Richard, how have you been since you last been on, man?
Oh, I mean, how do you answer that? Have you seen the state of the world?
Yeah, it's getting murky out there.
I mean, like, Billy Corgan has announced that he is retiring the character of Zero from Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. I had no idea Zero was a character. I just thought it was a cool T-shirt I owned.
I thought it was a skateboard brand.
Nope, just some guy named. He had a funeral for some guy named Zero. A bunch of big old famos were there, and now the Smashing Pumpkins are on doing a Rat in a Cage tour.
Does he grow his hair out?
Well, see, this is the complicated thing, because, of course, in the Zero video, he is bald. In the Bullet with Butterfly Wings video, he does have hair.
Yeah.
And I maintain, and this is thematically linked to what we're talking about, I promise. I maintain that Billy Corgan in the Bullet with Butterfly Wings video, with his like slicked back black hair, his long sleeve shirt with Zero written in silver and the star on it, and his silver pants, is the coolest looking person who has ever existed. Like, no one will ever match that for me. And I've believed this since I was 11 years old, and I will believe it until the day I die. I repeatedly buy Zero shirts and silver pants, and I look at them and I think, maybe this time. And I put them on, and I try and do the pose, and no, still just a fat weirdo with a beard.
It's the hair. You got to have longer hair.
I've had longer hair. I used to have hair down to my waist. Like, I've gone everywhere with my hair. I need, like, you just need those like sunken eyes and cheekbones. And I'm not even saying he's like an attractive man. I'm saying he's a cool looking man. And
it's
again,
all about the confidence.
That one specific time. Yeah,
it's about the ability just to go out there and flaunt it and just know you got it. And Billy was capable of not only doing that with long hair, but completely bald, which is like, it's outstanding. Either you could do it with the hair and not do it bald, or you can't have both, but he did.
I like, historically, I've never really been into entire like completely bald guys. I like tufts of hair around the side. I find that really cute. And then this weekend, I was talking for a great length of time to a man with absolutely no hair on his head, and I was like, "You're just an adorable little." I wanted to rub his head. Felt weird about it, so I left.
Yeah, that's frowned upon.
Yeah.
So I had the chance to read this, and it, as always, these stories are off the chains. I mean, the first one is your experience on tripping on mushrooms, and the second one that I read was eating the little capsules that turned into the dinosaurs. And it's just it was so insane. You even made diarrhea look beautiful in this. I don't know how you did it.
Hey, thank you.
It was gorgeous. I was like, I know what this is, but it still looks really pretty.
I want to be clear. It wasn't diarrhea. It was chunks of foam. It was very hard to push out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's even worse. That sounds miserable. Yeah. How big did this thing get?
I've never seen one like fully formed, obviously. Like I've only seen it as it looked coming out of me.
You know, you could put those in like a cup of water.
No, yeah, no, okay. So, like, to be clear, for the listeners and viewers at home, as a 9-year-old, maybe 8-year-old, I purchased what I thought was a large piece of candy called a raptor's egg, branded with Jurassic Park. And I paid a fucking dollar for this thing in like 1993 or 4. I was going to eat the whole thing no matter what. It was disgusting. I pretended it was good so my friends didn't know that I'd made a mistake. And then 3 days later, I was in the most pain of like more pain than the banana thing, which I've talked
Mhm.
about on the show before. Like so much pain through my entire body. And years later, I was explaining it to my friend, and she looked it up, and she was like, "Richard, that wasn't candy. That was one of those things that you put in water, and a like dinosaur grows out of it." So I bought another one and ate it again to prove that I was tougher as an adult than as a child. Now, the thing is, like, I've never not eaten one, so I've never like put one in water to see how big it grows. I assume like it does. I don't think something has to be that big when it's inside your bowels to really fuck you up. So I don't think they grow to like the size of a fucking small child or anything. I think it was just, you try and put one regular sized toy dinosaur inside your colon and see how you feel.
I think you're inventing some sort of new kink as we speak. Listeners out there, please use caution.
When inserting, you gotta just eat them, let them grow on the inside. Don't put them in fully grown.
I see, and that's why I love these interviews. They always there's no sense in really preparing because like how do you prepare for this? Like how do you even get ready to
Well,
be in
lube,
this moment? Like how did I
obviously,
get here?
lube, and obviously choose a dinosaur. Like Triceratops, obviously off limits. Anything with horns, anything with plates. Like
Ooh, what about Stegosaurus?
no,
Yikes!
Stegosaurus would be a
Yikes!
nightmare. Jesus Christ.
So let's also talk about a nightmare. Taking mushrooms and being under the impression they're going to be the same exact one. Silly Richard.
Listen, a fan at Comic-Con gave me mushrooms 2 years in a row. One time it was super chill and good. One time, not as much. And fine. Like, you take the good with the bad. But I took a train ride with my husband and became convinced that all the train stations were fake and that he was working with the various creatures at the train stations to lure me away from Hollywood. What you've read is the first chapter of that. On page 1, you see that while arguing with myself, I split into 3 different people, a thing that I was absolutely convinced was happening. And so what I do with the rest of the story is I have those other 2 versions of me run off ahead and start dealing with some of the other problems going on in my life over the next couple of weeks.
What do the colors represent?
I'm actually not sure I want to give that away because what I'll say is this is all Richards. We've got 2 that have split off so far. There's going to be another 2 that will split off through the story who will be red and orange. And I think anyone who has half a brain will put those 5 colors together and realize how I'm then using them to denote the actions of each of the. You might say that the blue is the character who leads me, and the purple is the one who fastidiously does machines. For instance, you might say there's an orange party dude involved as one of the personalities of Richard. We'll just see.
I loved how your relationship with Ray through this story was portrayed too, and I love how he was there for you during this. That was one of my favorite moments on the pages when I was reading it.
And to be clear, he'd had the same mushrooms as me. He's just a way chiller dude.
Well, mushrooms, they can be tricky. Obviously depends on what they are, what type they are. But also, it's really your mindset when consuming them can really put you in a whole lot of different bad states.
What's sort of scary for me right now is like this all happened. Like, look, I'm going to be really upfront. My life kind of fell apart a little bit. Like things went really bad around like August, September last year. And echoes of that played out through until some much worse stuff happened that put it all in perspective in February and March of this year. And a big part of the stuff that went wrong was because I was just so completely wiped out from just total exhaustion. And that was because like those mushrooms were given to me by someone on week 7 of an 11-week run of conventions. And I took them on week 8. And right now I'm on week 4 of a 13-week run of conventions, the same run of conventions with the
Oh
same
no.
level of exhaustion. But I'm adding to it by, one, running a Kickstarter campaign for this book during it, where I have to really think about all the shit that was going on there. 2, because of the stuff that kind of got worse in February and March of this year, my life is a lot more complicated with what I have to be kind of overseeing in the world. And 3, I moved to a new apartment last week, and I'm moving out of my office this week in between all this shit while drawing other comics. So it's like I'm like, is this comic going to be the thing that pushes me into causing a worse version of this comic to happen? And what happens when this fan shows up at San Diego and says, "Oh, hey, did you like those mushrooms? Here's more."
Do you think this fan's gonna read this and be like, "Oh shit, I need to like maybe offer this dude a joint next time"?
Guarantee he will read it.
So this is such a beautiful page too. I love just how you implemented mushrooms into this story too, and like how they just kind of like are just there in the background. You know, like right here was a really beautiful panel. But as we kind of scroll down, we see these guys, or yeah, right here, we see these guys acting in the real world, which I thought was really interesting as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the this is the point where the Purple Richard has realized that he needs to get ahead. Like Green Richard, when he sees the two have split off, he grabs Ray and pulls him back on the train and says, like, we have to get back to Hollywood. And the other two are left behind, and one of them goes in one direction and one of them goes in the other. One of them runs through the tunnel past the convention I did in Boston and past some social fuck ups and into a situation where, I mean, not to spoil too much, but a part of his story sort of concludes with him being removed from a hotel by the police. Part of Blue Richard's story ends with trying to get through airport security with a bag full of blood taped to his hand.
These really did a number on you.
This is across 2 weeks as well. This is a lot of this is, this is, I'm not going to pretend like the mushroom trip lasted 2 weeks, but what I will say is that like the kind of the state that I was in, you're right, it's about mindset. The state that I was in when I took them, I was right on the edge,
Mm-hmm.
I was already falling apart.
Do you think having being legally blind had heightened senses for you during this trip, and maybe that's like what kind of caused you to have all these feelings?
So this is the really interesting part of all of this. So I have my eye that doesn't see anything, essentially. Technically it is seeing things, but so little and so different to what my slightly better eye sees that I've learned, partly because of this incident, basically all of the images that come through from my non-working eye are just going to a different part of my brain. They're just being stored in a different part of my brain that I don't access, and so I'm just not processing them. And what started happening when I was on these mushrooms later in the night is I started seeing what my other eye was seeing. And if I closed my good eye, I could still see, but it was in a very different impressionistic style.
Mm-hmm.
And like, obviously the style change was the mushroom effect, but the part of my brain that was like, hey, Richard, we're going to give you those images you haven't been getting. And that kind of hangover, actually, that really did stay for a couple of weeks after, where I could at any point close my good eye and I would just start seeing in other styles out of my other eye for a while.
Because I was curious, because I am sure like it probably made you feel like there was a lot of things there that wasn't necessarily anything close to being what they actually were.
Yeah, and I live a life where like I'm constantly, I've always got my head on a swivel because things can sneak up on me from the left so easily. Like I can't see something until it's like there, you know. So there's always this like big void of like anything could be happening over here, and I would never be aware of it until I turn to look.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you add to that the possibility that things that aren't really there can show up, it fucks you.
And this panel too, I just love how we have this page break in the middle, and it's like almost like a camera reel with the paneling and how warped it gets as things get trippier. One thing that the eagle eye reader will notice too is some of these speech bubbles and thought bubbles like get a little smudged, like when the blinds of reality begin to blur. And I loved how you kind of mix that with not only the imagery but the lettering.
Yeah, I wanted it to really feel like there's always parts of my comics that I don't want you to see or I don't want you to read, or what I want you to experience them how you would if you were there in the moment. So like all of the announcements on the train speakers are I've done the lettering multiple times over each other so that it is like sort of sound like you get on a shitty speaker. Because it doesn't matter if you are reading the exact thing that it says, that like what train is coming and what station we're at. I wanted to create a sort of verisimilitude where you're getting the exact right words, but I'm using the visual language of comics to create the experience of what it feels like to be trying to hear an announcement and not quite getting it.
And right here too, I know we don't have the page in particular with like the paneling break, but like how these bars are, there's a particular page where it's an overhead view and you're just like swinging from bar to bar, and it was such a clever way to break up the page. And the way it was angled, like the bar still went up, and it was like, I don't know how to describe it as a reader. It like was such a level of immersion that I'm not used to reading when picking up a book.
You know how like normal people see faces everywhere? I see comic panels everywhere. So it was just I was looking at the rails in a train card that you can hold on to, right? And like if we look through those, this turns this train into a comic page, and so it creates this space where I can walk between those things. And if we're essentially what you're describing is like a downward view on a carriage in a train, looking through those bars, and I'm moving in and out of the different spaces as I walk down the train carriage.
So what, like, how do you process that? How do you take that as a real life image and process that into breaking it down to comic panels?
A lot of it is about like it really is about leaving some of those spaces empty. Um, you know, I I like being able to look at something and say like a comic is about having every panel be filled. Real life is quite often you are walking through an environment and your story is not following the shape of a page. Your story is following some of the panels on a page. And so I think about it in terms of like really moving through that space, showing what the empty panels look like by showing the environment that they are in, and then choosing what my pathway through them will be. And like the truth is, we do basically move all of the time, top left to bottom right, as we walk anywhere, in some form or other. And if I can just get the angle right to show that, then I can turn the whole world into comics.
I love that. I
You know,
love that.
people like a lot of people criticize modern comics for having no backgrounds, which is true. Like a lot of people are very lazy, or they'll talk about how like there's very few people in the world. These worlds are not crowded like the real world is. And I know my world is seldom ever crowded in the comics, but it's because this is my approach to panels. Like if those panels are empty, I don't know who's in them. I know what the environment looks like because I've been there before. So that's the part I'm going to represent.
I love that. And for everyone that is watching, I think you'll love this book too. Check this link out. Be sure to back today. If you're not able to back, share it with a friend and family member. You guys know the drill. Word of mouth is 100% free, and it costs you nothing at all. So, Richard, with that being said, it is getting time for us to begin wrapping up.
Yes.
And you've been on the show a billion times. I feel like this increasingly becomes more difficult for me as an interviewer to come up with a unique question. So, for anyone out there looking to do multiple shows, looking to do multiple cons, and looking to kind of keep themselves intact and not lose themselves, what would be your biggest piece of advice as someone who does this and has such a tough regimen of not only creating comics, running campaigns, but also doing the shows?
I think that the thing that gets in people's heads especially indie creators and especially people who are not doing mainstream stuff, is we tell ourselves that we're not meant to be there. And I've recently kind of had a big breakthrough with this. I've always sort of acted toward conventions as if like someone must have accidentally let me show up, because like I'm not here with Batman and all of his fun friends. I'm here with my ghosts and my dicks, right? And then I was talking to my friend Aaron, and he said, like, here's the thing. If a convention already has 4 Batman guys, having a 5th Batman guy doesn't change the audience, doesn't bring in anyone new. And sure, the weird guy with the ghosts and the dicks might not be bringing in that many new people, but they're certainly not the same people who are buying tickets for Batman guys. And I said, like, okay, what I'm going to do, and this was at the Denver show a couple of weeks ago. I said, I'm going to keep a tally of every single person who specifically tells me some form of, I came here to find you. I came to this show to get more stuff from you. Now, maybe I'm not the only reason they're coming to these shows, but like, I was one of the things on the list that made it worthwhile for them to pay hundreds of dollars for a ticket to get in the door. And I thought there'd be 5, maybe 10 at most. I got 58 people over the course of a 4-day show telling me they had specifically come there to find me. Now, I don't know if there were more who didn't tell me. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But I know, like, what that means is that, like, people are waiting an entire year to come back and find me again. And I think we need to get out of our own way and stop assuming that we have to apologize for making something different than Batman and his fun friends.
I love that.
It's about chaos. Now, I want to ask, did you watch the video for the campaign?
I didn't. You want to check it out?
I think we should, because I put a lot more work than I usually do into videos. And also I want to shout out Victor Jones for the song, because it's fucking sick as hell.
All right, give me 1 second. Pull it up and we'll get it added. And then for this part, like for when I go to do post-production, I'll probably edit the video out because I have background music.
Okay.
So after that, I'll just transition to us capping off and ending the show. But we could definitely pull it up on the live stream, and the live stream stays up. So. There we go. Let's check it out.
White thing safari, I'm going down on your mother.
We need sound.
Gonna ruin the tour, gonna fuck up your summer. Come on!
Oh, that was really cool.
Fairgray, and this
I love
is
the paneling.
graphic
Can you
memoir
get sound?
about falling apart,
Yeah, I
putting
got
yourself
sound. You
back
probably won't
together,
hear the sound
and
though.
realizing how
We
many
hear the
pieces you
sound.
were missing
Okay,
along
cool.
the way.
Northwest Passage, I'm gonna freeze to death. Making out with your dad, I'm grabbing his hairy chest. Come on!
When a fan
Perfect
gave me
song for you
$5 at the
too.
convention, I didn't expect that 2 weeks later I would be on a train with my husband, convinced that he was trying to sabotage me by building fake train stations. A week after that, I was trying to get through airport security with my hand in a bag full of blood, and a week after that, I was being escorted from my hotel room in Chicago by the police. The aftermath of that night, along with the swirling miasma of cursed nonsense that is the world right now, has turned into a year-long saga of realizing what it means to really be falling apart, to really not be okay. If you've enjoyed Octopus, Get My Head Straight, Ambitious Failures, or any of my other works, then buckle up, because this one's going to be a fucking nightmare. But I think you'll like it.
I really loved when it was a 72-page panel, and the way the panels each blinked out to transition to the video. I thought that was really cool.
Thank you.
That was really cool.
And see, videos like that are why people should keep all of their old phones, so you can film everything from multiple angles.
So it is time for us to begin wrapping up. Richard, as always, thank you so much for swinging by and hanging out with us and just, chopping it up. I always love, catching up with you and talking. These interviews are always so much fun. It's the reason why we keep it geekly, baby. So everyone, you can help keep it geekly by checking out that campaign as well and help it fund 100%. You're close. What, 89% right now?
Jesus, am I? No, I'm like 66%.
Oh,
but also,
sorry, I seen it.
This is the fastest funding campaign I have ever had. Like we're close to $2,000 in 2 hours.
Wow. So
it's already my best day one ever, and I'm 2 hours in.
I love that. So guys, help be a part of that day one hype.
And the first 50 physical backers get a mini comic. They get The Norm issue 1, which is about a kid who doesn't want to be a nobody. He doesn't want to be a somebody. He wants to be everybody, the most middle of the road person possible.
I love that so much. So guys, I hope you all have a fantastic Tuesday.